Hello everyone. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to call a method inside of another script. Okay? And I've gone ahead and just created some example scripts here and a little bit of an example scene just to kind of demonstrate how this will all work. So this is a UI button and this is a physical button right here. I created those just to kind of show you the different methods you can use depending on your preference to call that method. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and show you my Visual Studio screen now. And I'm going to go over exactly what's going on here. So we have example script number 1. Now, the most important thing right here is going to be this line. We have a reference to example script 2, and we named it example script ref. Okay? So when we want to call a method in example script 2, we'll have to do it through our own method right here. So we have it named call example method. And this line right here says example script ref, which is the name of the reference right here, dot call me. Now if we go over to the script number 2, we'll see right here that we have a method called call me. And whenever it gets called, it will log it to the console with this line of text right here. So essentially what happens is when we call this method, it goes into example script 2 and calls this method right here. So you're probably wondering, okay, what's up with the interact? So the interact is in place for the physical button, okay? As for the UI button, I'll show you how that works. So we're gonna head back over to Unity. So with our UI button right here, we have a reference to our example script 1, which can be done just by simply dragging and dropping it into here. And then you need to type it word for word, like make sure capitalization is accurate. It says call example method. So when you click this physical button right here, well, it's not the physical one, this is the UI button, but when you click this, it's going to call that method in our script. Now, if we go over here, we have our little cube. It has a box color set to is trigger. Very important if you want to use it as a script. So we have our example 1 script that we have dragged and dropped onto here. And we have to make sure we reference the example script 2, which is different from the UI button because we're calling the method directly. While here, we're going to be calling it through the interact, so we need to have a reference to it. So example 1, example 2 here, I've created. You need to make sure you have these guys in your scene, obviously, so that way you can actually use them. Now, technically, it does have an interact, but this doesn't really matter because there's no is trigger or anything, so that's irrelevant. That's only important for this one right here. Okay? Now, moving forward, I'm going to show you how to actually set this up. So we're going to go on ahead and just create a new script. And I apologize if I sound a little weird or if I'm fumbling my words. This is my first video and I haven't made videos in a very, very long time. Okay, so we'll just call this example script 3, just for the sake of convenience. So we're just going to wait for that to load. You can't see right now, but it's just doing a little loading bar, just getting the script ready for me to use. Okay, we're going to do one more time. Create U# script. We'll just call this one example script 4. Sorry, you can't see that window right now. It's just a folder naming thing. You'll know what it is. You just type in the name and then you just click save and it'll create the script for you. Just give it a moment again. So for the sake of keeping things tidy, I'm just going to call this folder right here scripts. And grab the ones that I created. So we have these two right here. Drag and drop them into there. There. That will keep things a little more clean and organized now. Sorry, just giving a loading bar again. So first things first, we have our scripts. I'm going to go on ahead and just set up the scene to kind of show you how these are going to work. So I'm just going to delete these guys right here. We'll create an empty game object. We'll call this example script 3. Go into here, example script 4. We'll drag and drop our example script 3, drag and drop our example script 4, Obviously, they don't have any settings on them right now because they're in their base form. So we have that set up. We're going to go over here too. Just going to remove this component and we'll just put in example script 3 because that's going to be our first script. So now I'm going to show you the Visual Studio screen again. I'm going to quickly pull up example script 3 and example script 4. There we go. We can just close these guys out because we won't need them. Reorder that. Okay, so first things first. Let's make a reference to example script 4. So if you're going to be making any references or declaring any variables in your script, it must be up here. Okay, so we'll start with public. This is important because we need it to be public so we can actually see the script and use it. So we're going to type example. You can see right here how it shows a list of all the scripts with the similar naming. We can just go on ahead and go to example script 4. This is the exact reference to this script right here. Okay. Then we hit space and you can name it whatever you want. I'm just going to call it second script. So to make sure I lowercase that first bit. Followed by the little symbol here. So we're naming it second script. Okay. So we're going to go down here. We're going to type in public void. We'll just call it second script. Followed by the little curly thingies right here. And then you've created your little method here. Now we need to do something with it. Well, we don't have anything set up in script 4 to call on right now. So let's go ahead and set that up now. So in example script 4, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do public. We'll just call this one call this method. Don't mind the weird naming. Oh, looks like we can't use that actually. We'll change that. We'll just call it call me. Oh, sorry, messing up my typing here. Call me 2, maybe. Oh, I know what I did wrong. Sorry. I do call me I do the void first. There we go. Public void call me 2. I guess I could have went with the other naming, but that's okay. So we'll just do debug.log, the little quotations, everything. We'll say call me 2 has been called. There we go. And we just end that off. So now we have an actual method right here. Just going to hit Control S to save it. Go on over here. Now, this is a part where people might mess up. You're not typing example script 4. You're typing the name that you created for it. So we'll type in second script dot, and then we go and say, okay, well, what are you trying to call from that script? Call me 2. So we'll go down here. We'll put that there. But we're not done. We need to put the little circle thing there. Then put that little symbol. And now this method is ready to go. So whenever this method right here, second script, gets called, it goes into this little area right here and says, okay, you have a reference to this script. We're going to call this method in that script. Okay. Now that's all fun and dandy, but how do we actually call this method? This is where we need an outside source such as an interact or a UI button to call it. Okay. So I'm going to go on ahead and do the button first. So just give this a quick moment. I'm going to flip over to my Unity screen. So we have this button right here. Okay. And you're probably thinking, okay, you're going to drag and drop your example script 4, but there's no interact. You can't do anything with this cube right now. We need to add in a way to do so. So we're going to head back over to our script. Remember, this is example 3, our first script. So we're going to go in public void. Well, I guess, I don't know if public matters or not, but we're just going to type in interact. Now, this isn't a VRChat method that's already been created. So interact is basically when you interact with an object. It's kind of like use or click on it. That's what this whole interact method is. It's already been created for us. So now when we do interact, we want to call this script right here. You could do second script, right? And that would call this method right here, which then in turn would call this. Or you could just skip that step and just type in second script dot call me to, and just do it that way. All right. So now that we have an interact, we're going to head back over to Unity. Just give it a quick moment to load again. There we go. Now see that it has updated. So I accidentally put in example script 4 here. That's my bad. Actually, I believe I was supposed to do that. Yeah, I was supposed to do that. Sorry. It's, again, just a reminder, this is my first time recording. I don't mean to ramble for so long. I'm going to try my absolute best to improve as time goes on. Okay, so we got our reference. So now when we click on this cube, it's going to call that method for us. Awesome. So if we go over to our button, it's going to say missing object because I deleted it now. We're going to go on ahead and drop in example script 3. This is important because we're calling the method there. Okay, so it says no function. So we have a reference to our example script 3, but nothing's happening. We need to click right here, go all the way down to send string. It's autofilled that from probably the last thing. So let's just do a quick confirmation. We have called it second script. So we're going to name this second script. That's the method we're trying to call. So now when we click this button, it's going to go into example script 3, and I'll just bring it back over. And then it's going to call this method right here. Now you wouldn't want it to be like interact because that's just separate. You don't want both of these in your script. I just have them in here for the sake of showing you the 2 different ways you could do this. So if you're going down the interact route, you could just delete this method. If you're going down the UI button route, then you could delete this method right here. Okay? So there we go. We're all set up. I'm going to go on ahead and show you in game now how this all works. Assuming I did everything correctly, which I'm pretty confident that I did. Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry. I was showing you the wrong screen, but that's okay. So I'm going to go on ahead and clear this, and we're going to go over here. So we have our UI button. When I click this, oh, looks like we have an error here. It's saying that object reference is not set to an instance of an object. So this is actually a good opportunity to show what's going on here. Okay, so this error means that you did not reference something correctly. Now, I think I know what this is. Yeah, right here. So in our example script 3, we actually did not reference our example script 4. So we're going to go ahead and drag and drop this right into here. And now we can go ahead and clear, press the play button again, and now we should be all good. I'm actually pretty glad that happened because it is a very common problem and a mistake that people make. So now if I click the button, it says right here, call me to has been called. Now if we head on over here, see the little use text right there. It's a little hard to see because it's also white. We click that, call me to has been called. There we go. So you have 2 different ways to call a method. Just whatever way you want to do it. Interact or UI button. Whatever works for you. Now, I apologize for making this video so lengthy. This is my first time doing this. And by no means, I am not an expert at this stuff. I'm just showing you guys what I know and kind of how I interpret it to be like the way that works for me. If that makes sense. In the future, I hope to make my videos more shorter or kind of straight to the point, but I do feel like taking the time to show the process and even making some mistakes through it will kind of make things a little more personal and just kind of better for you guys to understand that not everything is just going to go perfectly, you know? And it's just a lot more easier to understand what actually goes into the process of making these things. I could have just put the screen, like the script screen up and said, oh, here you go. This is how you make a reference to your script. But that's not showing you how to make it. Now, for anyone who does watch this video, if you're curious about how I set up this cube or this canvas, just let me know in the comments, and I'll probably end up making a video for it just to show you how to make a UI button and how to do a simple interact button. Obviously, it won't be 50 minutes long like this video, but thank you so much for watching. I hope that this video helped you in any way, and if it did, I'm very glad that it did. If you want to show any appreciation, by all means, you could share this video or just put down a like. But otherwise, that's all I have for you today. If you're stuck or if you have any problems, please don't hesitate to comment and reach out to me. I will be watching the comments in my feed as frequent as I can so I can help you guys out. But otherwise, have a wonderful day, and thanks again for watching.